If your company provides services to healthcare organizations, you've surely been handed a Business Associate Agreement, or BAA, and asked to sign it. Maybe you signed it without understanding it, or maybe you're about to negotiate your first. AA negotiations are complex, and most vendors don't realize how much room there is to negotiate. My name is Robert Melton. I'm a healthcare technology and compliance attorney based in Philadelphia. At Rob Melton Law, we focus on compliance for technology companies and SaaS platforms. Over my nearly 20 years of practice, I've negotiated hundreds of BAAs on both sides of the table. Today, we'll walk through the key areas of a BAA negotiation so you know what matters most to your business. A business associate agreement is a contract required under the law when a covered entity shares protected health information with a vendor. As a vendor, you're agreeing to safeguard that data and comply with specific HIPAA obligations. Negotiation rounds are normal. One of the most important and most negotiated provisions is the liability cap, the limit on your total financial exposure in a breach. Limitations of liability are essential. Healthcare breaches can bring catastrophic costs. You need a cap proportionate to the contract value and your risk profile. While covered entities resist low caps, they are almost always negotiable. Closely tied to the cap is indemnification, a promise to pay or defend the other party when something goes wrong. It's meant to avoid a breach of contract claim. Covered entities often want a broad indemnification from their vendors. Your goal is a narrower provision limited to situations where the breach is caused by a failure to comply with the BAA. A mutual indemnification provision, where both parties indemnify each other for their own wrongdoing, is a reasonable middle ground that many covered entities will accept. BAAs often require vendors to reimburse costs for notification, credit monitoring, and legal fees if they cause a breach. Pay attention to what specific costs are covered and ensure there are clear caps or ties to your liability limit. The BAA defines exactly how your company is permitted to use and disclose the protected health information you receive. Make sure permitted uses cover how your product operates, especially if you rely on data for analytics or machine learning. HIPAA requires that if you share PHI with subcontractors, they must also agree to the same restrictions via flowdown requirements. You can't pass PHI downstream without getting a BAA in place with them first. Your customers will ask you to take on liability for your subcontractors. You must notify covered entities of security incidents and data breaches. The key to negotiating this section is to ensure it does not hamper your incident response. Customer cooperation and approval are nice in theory, but could be debilitating in practice if two customers with approval rights disagree on the right remediation. Your processes must also be ready to meet the short notice timelines required by customers and specific areas of the law. Annual testing of the incident response policy is a good way to identify problems and make improvements. Most BAAs include an audit right, meaning the covered entity can audit your compliance directly or through a third party. It's reasonable to negotiate audit terms like advance notice, frequency, and who bears the cost to make it workable for your business. Large systems often include references to state-specific data protection laws that go beyond federal HIPAA requirements. If you're selling in multiple states, pay close attention to these evolving laws as they expand obligations for data handling. The terms of a BAA can have real financial consequences for your company. You can't treat them as just a compliance checkbox. Indeed, you may have more leverage than you think. If they give you a one-sided agreement, they are often expecting you to negotiate. If you need help with your BAA negotiations, please reach out to Rob Melton Law, visit us at robmelton.com, or send an email to rob@robmelton.com. We work with technology companies across the United States. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you.